We had a disaster recovery session as we're required to do by the FCA, and this was done in January. And my sort of risk team put us through this scrutiny, and they came up with a whole host of disaster arenas that we as a board had to work through, and we covered so much ground. The one thing, Sarah, we didn't discuss was pandemic. So despite them being creative and coming up with the worst scenarios, they never discussed pandemic. But what is interesting, we did discuss if you can't go back to the office, if there's been an explosion on the bottom of the road, or we don't have internet. And that was incredibly valuable as we put that into practice within literally 24 hours. So things like disaster, and going back to your risk management, all businesses will need to have business continuity and disaster recovery plans, because I think this is a long way from over. Who knows? We might see phase two. We might see a resurgence in a different way, but businesses just need to plan, and there is no substitute for planning. So as much advice as people can get.
And it's interesting you say that, because we're talking about businesses, not brokers. We're talking about businesses. So all of those brokers that are the insurers for SMEs, this is your opportunity to help with that, to support them in developing their own business continuity plan, management system, and to really understand it, because a lot of people don't. Yeah. And I think it's really important.
So if you boil it down to when you think 99% of British businesses are less than 10, I mean, first of all, it's a staggering number. So you imagine being an owner of the business, you've got 10 people, and apart from your partner, you might have a business partner, you might have a wife, husband that you might talk to, or a business partner. It's a very lonely place to be in. And I think brokers who have this vast bank of customers they can draw on. I normally go and see, I still look after clients, by the way. My first question is, what keeps you awake at night? That should be the first question every broker should be asking all their policyholders. Every single renewal, what is keeping you awake at night? And in many ways, Sarah, if you start off with that, I then begin to understand what's worrying you. Not what's worrying me, but what's worrying you. And it's incredible, because what could be worrying you, I've got solutions for, or somebody down the road or in the next county can help you. Well, why would I not say, well, Sarah, go and speak to Fred in Gloucestershire, because they can help you with this, because they've been through exactly what you've spoken about. And in many ways, we are business doctors, we are marriage brokers, we can introduce people. It doesn't cost us anything. And if it helps you with your problem, I've added value without even talking about insurance. So I think the fundamental question, when everybody goes back, what keeps you awake at night? And then you'll be amazed because it could be a domestic issue. It could be my supplier's gone bust. It could be, I can't get through to my customer. It could be, I'm so reliant on one supplier. If they have a fire, what am I going to do? What happens if the plane doesn't leave on time? What happens if my staff are stuck overseas? So if you want to understand risk, that is your first question. What keeps you awake at night? And I think that just creates, because ultimately your policyholder, your client, is just going to open up about what's on their mind, not what's on your mind. And me splurging about insurance and how great we are, just listen to your customer, because that's where your solution and your answers lie.